Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, our today's lecture is about modals or auxiliaries. These are also called anomalous or special words. These are also commonly called helping words. Why they are called anomalous or special words? Because they are the only words that come before the subject in questions. Like, can you swim? Will you go? Do you want to go? Could you help me? The verbs can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, and ought are called modal verbs or modals. They are used before ordinary verbs and express meanings such as permission, possibility, certainty, and necessity. There are two other words, need and dare. They also sometimes act like modal verbs. Dear students, here is a list of auxiliaries or modals. You can see it here. Be, may, might, must, ought, used, need, dare, shall, should, do, will, would, can, and have. There is another characteristic of these modals that they can be added with an apostrophe T in to make it negative, like isn't, haven't, must not, couldn't, shouldn't, shan't, won't, etc. Some of them they are called defective verbs. Why they are called defective verbs? Because there is some part missing from them and that is wanting, and these are can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, and ought. They don't have S forms in the third person singular. They have no infinitive and ing forms. Like, you never see that we can turn can into cans, coulds, mays, mights, shells. We don't add S. They don't have infinitive. We don't say two can, two could, two may, two might, two shall, two should, or two will, like that. And we don't find ing forms like canning, coulding, maying, mighting. We don't find that. That's why they are called defective verbs, because some of the part is missing in them or wanting in them. Something is needed to make them complete. The verbs be, am, is, was, have, and do, when used with ordinary verbs to make tenses, passive forms, questions, and negatives, are called auxiliary verbs or auxiliaries. Simply, you remember that in your class, your teacher must have told you that while you take them out, they will become the question, and if you add not after them, they become negative sentences. First of all, the first modal we are going to learn about is be, use of be form. The auxiliary be is used for several purposes. Number one, formation of continuous tenses like he is working and I was writing. First is present and the second is past. Now number two sentence. In the formation of passive voice, the gate was open. In the same way as we made the present forms, we make it passive forms, or uh, uh, first in active and the second is passive forms. Now be followed by the infinitive. Infinitive is always with two, is used. Number one, to indicate a plan, arrangement, or agreement. As example is, I am to see him tomorrow. This is showing a plan. We are to be married next month. It is showing an agreement or an arrangement or a plan too. Next is to denote a command. You are to write your name at the top of each sheet of paper, which is showing that some command is given. Mother says you are to go to market at once. Be is used in the past tense with the perfect infinitive to indicate an arrangement that was made but not carried out, means for some incomplete plan. They are also showing some incomplete plan, like they were to have been married last month but had to postpone the marriage until June. So were to and had to, showing a postponement of arrangement. Now we come towards use of have. The auxiliary have is used in the formation of the perfect tenses. Simple, he has worked, he has been working, as we use it. Have to is used with the infinitive to indicate obligation. Whenever we say that we have to do, I have to do, it shows some stress, some obligation. I have to be there by 5 o'clock. He has to move the furniture himself. The past form had to is used to express obligation in the past. I had to be there by 5 o'clock. He had to move the furniture, as we had used for the first in present tense. Now we can see it in the past tense, had to. We can make, next is we can make negatives and questions like have to and had to are used with do, does and did. They have to go, they don't have to go. Making negative, do they have to go, he has to go, he doesn't have to go. Does he have to go, he had to go, he didn't have to go, did he have to go. We are using in various ways. Now the use of do. The auxiliary do is used, number one, to form the negative and interrogative of the simple present and simple past tenses of the ordinary verbs. As you have seen, do they work? Yeah, he didn't work. Does he work? Did he work? Or number two, to avoid repetition of a previous ordinary verb. While we are answering a question, a simple question like, do you know him? We can simply answer, yes, I do. We don't need to repeat the answer, yes, I know him. Only do will perform the function to avoid the repetition. She sings well. Yes, she does. You met him, didn't you? He eats fish, and so do you. So, avoid repetition, we can use do. Do is also used to emphasize the affirmative nature of a statement. While we are showing stress or affirmation or of some statement like, you do look pale. I told him not to go, but he did go. In the imperative, do makes a request or invitation more persuasive. Do be quiet. Oh, do come. It's going to be such fun. In such cases, do is strongly stressed, which is showing an emphasizing nature of the statement. Dear students, here is a chart for reviewing of some of the auxiliary or modal verbs. So, can, could shows ability, possibility, informal, polite, request or permission. In the sentences, in examples, you can see ability or possibility, I can't swim. Informal or polite request, can I borrow this ruler? And for the permission, you can go to the party. So this is just one example. You can read further with all the sentences. Thank you.